I don't know if it's bugging you, but the blank spots in my bookshelf are bugging me. Like, I can feel them staring at me. Hello, my lovely friends. It's Margaret, and it is time to nerd out about Percy Jackson. Coming back at you with another Demigods Anonymous challenge. If you don't know what Demigods Anonymous is, it is a 5-month read-along of the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Last month, we read The Lightning Thief, which is the first book in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This month, we are reading Sea of Monsters, which might look like this or this, depending on which version you have. Speaking of which, I finally got a copy that is a hardcover that matches my other hardcovers. I am so happy. I have been looking for this book for probably about 2 years at this point. Well, longer, but it's been about 2 years since I realized that I might actually have an issue getting it in this edition. Along with the read-along and the live show that we will be doing, we're also doing a giveaway. So each month we are coming up with challenge videos for you guys to then respond to. This month I am bringing you guys the Sea of Monsters Bookshelf Scavenger Hunt Challenge. I have 11 prompts for you guys to do. I personally am not going to be using any of the Percy Jackson books to fill any of these prompts because I feel like that would be cheating. I have not actually planned out, except for the first one, I have not planned out what I'm going to be finding on my bookshelf. So this should be interesting. Because this is a bookshelf challenge, all of the books that you pick out have to be ones that you physically own. So at the end, you're going to show us how many of these scavenger hunt prompts you were able to fulfill. Like I said, I haven't planned this, so I don't even know if I'm able to fulfill them. The first prompt is wedding dress. Find a book with a white dress on the cover. This can be just a regular white dress or a wedding dress. Any people out there who know what I will be going for? So, technically, this is not a book, but book is in the title. So I'm going to go with my issue of Batman 44 by Tom King and illustrated by Joelle Jones. There's a white dress on the cover because it's her wedding dress that she never got to use. I mean, technically she did. It's very complicated. This is one of the issues that is leading up to the wedding that didn't happen, and this is the one where she goes dress shopping, sort of. This is probably one of my favorite issues that he's written. Prompt number 2 is a family reunion, a book with a strained family dynamic. Oh boy, hold on, we're gonna figure this out. I have one that I want to pull out, but I feel like that's too easy of an answer. I'm gonna go with A Wounded Name by Dot Hutchison. This is a modern-ish retelling of Hamlet. It's at a boarding school, so it feels a little bit dated, which is fine because it's Hamlet. It's a retelling of Shakespeare. But it is from Ophelia's point of view. There's some magical realism in there, and there's definitely some strained family dynamics because Polonius and Laertes are just the worst. Like, I literally, I'm friends with the author, so I literally texted her when I was reading this for the first time, and I told her that Laertes fails as an older sibling. Just absolutely, utterly fails as an older sibling. I say this as an older sibling. Oh, I hate Hamlet. I hate Hamlet unless it is one of 3 versions. The Lion King, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, and this book right here. I absolutely adore it, despite the fact that it has like every single element that makes me hate most books. The author, myself, we are all surprised that Margaret loves this book as much as she does. Trigger warnings for like sexual violence, trigger warnings for like suicide attempts. But it is just, it's so gorgeous. She just writes it so beautifully that I wasn't even mad that it ended the way it ended. I'm assuming everyone knows how Hamlet ends, so because it's a tragedy by Shakespeare, which means that like everyone dies. It's like a freaking episode of Game of Thrones. Prompt number 3 is Cabin Mates. Choose a book with a reluctant team up. Ooh, I know exactly which one I want for this. I'm gonna go with Don't Judge a Girl by Her Cover by Ali Carter. This is the 3rd book in the Gallagher Girls series. If you don't know what Gallagher Girls is, it's basically about this school called Gallagher Academy where young girls go to be trained to be spies. It is fantastic. The main character, Cami Morgan, her mother is the headmistress of this school, and so in the 2nd book, they have a run-in with some boys. In this one, she meets up with that boy again, and they kind of end up having to like team up in places, and it's hilarious because neither of them want the other person to be there because the other person is getting in the way of their mission. They're gumming up the works of their mission, but here they are having to work together and not get caught by the bad guys, and it is wonderful. It's 6 books of just fantasticness. Okay, guys? I love it. Number 4 is Going Down, a book with a shipwreck, explosion, or other disaster on the cover. I feel like I don't have many disastery covers. Does Harry Potter count as a disaster? Because he's like a human disaster, kind of. So I didn't think I was going to have one for this, but I think I have one that might work, and that is Sanctuary by Karen Licks. I haven't read this one yet. It's about a girl named Kinsey who's on this like super prison in space for people with superpowers. If you haven't seen the LITERARY Crate unboxing that I did on Monday, this is the July book, and it was in it. So it'll have more of a plot. But basically, there's a prison break sort of represented on the cover of this book, and also something dark has clawed its way out of somewhere, that's not good. It's never good. That's bad. That's very bad. That's a disaster, probably, especially since they're in space. Oh, books in space make me feel anxious. Just like, what happens if there's no oxygen? Prompt number 5 is Party Ponies, the book you own that has the loudest cover. My loudest books are right there, and they're all Rick Riordan books. I didn't pull him out for the human disaster thing, but I am going to go with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows for this one because it is the brightest book I own. And look, it's Harry being loud. Number 6 is Chariot Race, a book with a race, or if you don't have any books with races in them, then you can choose another sporting event. I found The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This is one of my favorite books of all time. Like, if we were to rank them, like, there's a couple Rick Riordan series, there's a V.E. Schwab's Shades of Magic series, and then this one's somewhere in that list of top 10 things I've ever read. This follows Sean and Puck. Puck is a young girl living on the island, and Sean is a Kapell Ishka trainer. He's one of the best on the island. He's won the race like many, many years in a row. And the thing about this race is the horses eat people. I know that, like, it's probably not the best. This has man-eating horses is probably not the best recommendation that you have ever had for a book, but like, it has man-eating horses, guys. Why would you not want to read this book? I don't know what that says about me. It's one of the few books that just brought me to tears at the end. Like, there's like 3 books that have ever brought me to tears in my life. Number 7 is Andromeda, a book with stars on the cover. I have one. It's Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. Zombies, post-Civil War. It's fantastic. You should read it. I loved it. But look, there are stars on the cover. I love this book so much, and I understand why she needs more time to write it, but I really wish the sequel was coming out next year. It's not coming out till 2020, but oh, it was so good. It's about a young biracial black girl growing up in the South. She's been sent to a school where you are trained to kill zombies because during the Battle of Gettysburg, the dead started rising and eating people. Fantastic. Number 8, which is Quest, a book with a road trip. I have one. Paper Towns by John Green. Not my favorite John Green book by far, but I did enjoy it. And there's a road trip in this book. Yeah, there we go. I'm not going to tell you what it's about because it's complicated and it's weird. It has so much Florida humor in it, which is why I enjoy it, because like, I'm reading it and I'm like, hey, this is where I grew up. Like, I identify with so much of this book. Number 9 is Cyclops, a book with a character that grew on you. The book I was thinking of when I wrote this prompt, I don't own, so we're gonna need a minute. I'm gonna go with Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. Now, this isn't the book where she grew on me, but it has been a very interesting process of me figuring out why it was I didn't like Wonder Woman, and the idea that none of it had anything to do with her character and everything to do with the fact that she is the sole representation for women on the Justice League, despite DC having so many fantastic women in the Justice League, and the fact that she's continually bounced around as either Batman or Superman's love interest when A, she deserves a love story of her own, and B, they both have romantic partners that they're very much involved with and very much in love with, and that just, I'm a shipper, okay guys? I'm a shipper, and when you mess with my ships, as Diana has unfortunately ended up doing, because writers are stupid sometimes. Who the frack breaks up Clark Kent and Lois Lane? I still had some of those like annoyed, I don't really like Diana feelings when it first came out. Like, I'd seen the movie and I really liked the movie, and so I decided to read the comic books, the new Rebirth title, and it wasn't until I picked that up that I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna pick this up and read it. And I actually feel like this haven't finished Catwoman Soul Stealer yet, but I do feel like this one is the one that fits the best in with the current DC mythology. But we'll see, because I haven't finished Catwoman Soul Stealer yet, and Superman Dawnbreaker is still yet to come out, so. Prompt number 10 is a Magic Fleece, a book with a magical item on the cover. Crap, I have already used Harry Potter. This is unfortunate. Does Kel count as a magical item? We're good. Everything's fine. It's all good. I'm gonna go with the Cruel Prince by Holly Black because it has the crown, and the crown is magic so that it can only, like, it has all this power bound up in it so that the king can rule over the fairies and unite them, and so they all have to kind of, like, because there's so much magic, all of the fairies are, like, united under him. However, the way it works is it has to be passed down a certain way, or the magic doesn't continue to work. And I'm just gonna cool down here for a minute because prompt number 11 is CC's Spa, a book with a very calm cover. I went through all that not knowing if I had a book with magical items on the covers, but I have an entire row of fantasy down on this last row of my bookshelf. There probably was a magical item on one of them. I'm gonna go with Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. I have no idea what this is about. All I know is that, like, there's gunslingers and the desert involved, but I just like it's got all of these lovely blues and like the gold, and it's like in such a, like, just kind of cool, like, go with the flowy pattern, and it's nighttime on the cover, and there are stars. Oh look, there are stars! You can tell I haven't had this book long. And like a city in the dark, and it just, I like it. It's a calm cover to me. It's like basically like Wild West in a fictional desert, from what I understand. There you guys go. 11, well, 10 books in one, these are heavy. 10 books in one comic, guys. Ta-da! I have completed my own scavenger hunt. Hooray. If you do the scavenger hunt, make sure that you link it down below, or you tag ReadDA on Twitter so that we can see you, because that's how you get entered for the giveaway. You can submit videos all the way up until noon on October 27th. The first item that you win is one of these nifty Camp Half-Blood t-shirts. We have some of those to give away. I also have a couple other things in the prize pack, like a Demigods Anonymous official sticker that we designed. There are going to be a couple of other items in there that are kind of Sea of Monsters themed, but also we do have the Percy Jackson candle from A Court of Candles. This one is my personal candle, but I loved it so much that I was like, somebody else needs one of these, so I got another one. It is this lovely blue color on the inside, and it smells so nice and fresh. Just like the scent is ocean seaweed and mint. It's interesting how the mint to me goes in there because you don't really smell it, but it does just there's just this crispness to it. I am obviously going to be tagging my co-hosts Ming Kobayashi and Kenzie Lee T in this challenge. I can't wait to see what videos you guys come up with. Answer in the comments, have you started reading Sea of Monsters yet? What do you think of it so far? There's still time, if you haven't heard of this until just this moment, there's still time for you to read both The Lightning Thief and The Sea of Monsters. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to see your lovely face here on a regular basis. You can also find me personally on Instagram and Twitter. Those are both at the word nerd with a 3 in nerd instead of the E. That is it for now, my friends. I hope you have a lovely time reading whatever you're reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!